What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and break down what you should be watching for Tesla, as we have some very important warnings about this stock. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any can be a free Tesla share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just one day. It actually ends today, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, guys, I also apologize about why I'm recording this video so late and uploading it so late. And that's because of the fact that where I live, there is a storm that's going on right now. The storm is actually causing power outages. It's causing a lot of hardships for people, but it's not anything that's extreme. That's the good thing about it. I wouldn't say good thing, but that's something that's not as horrible about it, right? That's the fact that it's not a snowstorm, it's not a hurricane, it's not a tornado. It's just heavy rain, lots of flooding, heavy winds, and things like that. And the good thing about it, though, and I know I keep saying that, but the good thing about it is it should actually cool off after a couple of days. So I really hope that everyone out there stays safe. Now, the storm is expected to be pretty bad tomorrow, and tomorrow may be one of the worst days. Tomorrow and also Friday, there is a state of emergency going on right now. So I may have to upload these videos a little bit later for Thursday and Friday. All right. Nothing to be too concerned about. Don't be worried about me. I'm going to be completely fine. But I just want to note that that is something that's going to be happening. But I will go back to normal in terms of the time that I upload these videos for the weekend, hopefully, and then going into next week, things should go back to normal. But I just wanted to put this out there. That's the reason why I may be a little bit late today, maybe tomorrow and the day after. I do apologize for that, but everything's gonna be a-okay. Anyways, let's now talk about Tesla. And I'm just going to talk about technicals in this video. I'm just going to focus on SPY and Tesla and talk about something big that's going on in the market right now. Now, I was telling everyone many days ago, I made a video about this, where I talked about SPY, and I mentioned that we had this bullish divergence that formed 374, and my target was to see SPY rally to about 390 before a potential reversal, before the big crash starts. My prediction was perhaps this was the final week of the rally before the crash, but I do want to shift this a little bit. I think that this may go a little bit into next week, but I do believe next week is going to be the time we see the big reversal. That's at least my prediction. Whether it's on Monday or maybe on Thursday, it's got to be one of those days, in my opinion, non financial advice. But let me actually break down what's happening to SPY and how this actually affects Tesla. So, taking them side by side, all right, we have SPY on the left, and then we have Tesla on the right. I'm first going to do it this way, then I'm going to talk specifically about SPY, then more about Tesla a little bit later on. But firstly, what you'll notice is both of them had this major sell off together. This is when Tesla, it was underperforming because Tesla was selling off harder, but that's because Elon Musk was selling billions of shares, not to mention all the FUD, the negative news that was coming out. But you'll notice that on the 14th, all right, that's when SPY peaked before the big reversal for Tesla. And I know this is a little messy on the chart. I do apologize for that. Tesla was just on a big downtrend even before the 14th. It was just, you know, getting hit over and over again. It actually pushed a little bit, got a small bounce to about this 182 level on the ninth before it started dropping a little early. So Tesla was underperforming. We actually know that. But also notice how when you look at the charts side by side, there is a similarity right here. And the similarity would be, if you look right here, we have this gap down on Tesla on the 27th, and Tesla basically sold off. What did SPY do on the 27th? Sorry, it's like right here. On the 27th, SPY actually had a sell-off day. On the 28th, it had another sell-off day. Tesla also sold off on the 28th. The 29th comes. SPY has a small rally to the upside. Tesla has a small rally to the upside. The 30th comes. Tesla actually held up while SPY started coming down. Then Tesla had that big crash after the deliveries report that came out, dropping more than 12% in one day before getting a small bounce today, as SPY also got a bit of a bounce. But SPY also had a bit of a sell off yesterday. I'm sure you guys remember that, right? And we actually hit that 377. So, very interesting to see the correlation between them. Now, when I say there's a correlation, I mean that we do see similar patterns. That does not mean they're exactly the same. And we know Tesla has been notorious, at least for the past week, for underperforming SPY. But now want to talk about what I see SPY doing and how this may affect Tesla, because I do want to mention something very important. On the hourly, we had this bullish divergence that formed. It's a little hard to see, I know, but I'm going to actually break this down. So, what's worth noting is when there was the bullish divergence, it basically suggested that this right here was a temporary bottom. Let me show you. If we draw out this trend line right here, 374, see right here, 374 is where we bottomed at. Look at the MACD. There's clearly a divergence. The MACD has this uptrend like pattern. We have this big downtrend right here. All right. And then we treated 374 as our temporary bottom before we start this uptrend. I mentioned this last week why I was more bullish on the market for this week. I mentioned that last week. I released a video about that on Saturday. And I mentioned that this could actually help Tesla to some degree. Now, Tesla did very well on their deliveries report. Tesla had potential to actually squeeze and go much higher, but it ended up not actually doing that. It did end up missing estimates on deliveries, but overall, the report was not extremely horrible because their production was at a 47% growth year over year. They still did pretty decent amidst all the hardships, all the other things that were going on in China with supply chains and logistical issues and etc. But now I want to break this down. What's happening to SPY? We have different perspectives, okay? There are different perspectives that we could use. The first one would be maybe this was like a pennant like pattern. And in this pennant, we had a breakout, we retested, we closed above it, and we might continue to rally to the upside from here and approach 390 or even higher than that. And it might last until the CPI day on the 12th, which is when we could actually see a big reversal and the big crash start, hypothetically. Now, another perspective would be this. Let me close the MACD so it's a little bit easier to see. You could also draw out a bear flag, right? A big bear flag right over here that's forming. And it's been forming for the past few weeks. You could essentially draw out this level right over here just to start it off. I think push this flag like pattern that's been forming right about here. Now, the thing about it is if we are respecting this, it could be noted that this flag right here would likely slowly take us to our top around the 6th, maybe as high as where the ninth goes to this like 388 level. Maybe we break a little bit higher before getting rejected, right? And what else you could actually do is look at the daily. Let me hide all the drawings. I know I don't make my drawings based off the daily charts. I use like the hourly, smaller time frames. That's why it's usually messy. But when you look at the moving averages, you will notice that, hold on, when we have these bear rallies, we have this pattern where we come down, we drop pretty hard, we get a bounce, and we break above the 20 moving average, then we continue to crash. All right, we basically were above it right here. We came down, right? We pushed up above it, then we came crashing down during another bear rally. Look at this bear rally right here. We're above the blue line, by the way. Look at the blue line. That's the 20 moving average. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. It's the blue line. Notice the blue line. We broke above it, then we came down. All right, we came down here. We actually tested it right here. We came down, we had another break to the downside in February, retested, then we crash. During the March rally, we push above it, we come down, retest it, maybe break a little bit above it, then we crash down again, the blue line, right? Then we continue to drop. Look at the next start of the crash. Look at this one right here. This one's really interesting. This is actually during the crash that started after the August run up in the markets. We start crashing, bounce above the blue line, the 20 moving average, big crash. Second 20 moving average test. We break above it a little bit, then we come crashing down. Then what happened? We crashed to 355, get a bounce back to 377, retest the blue line, the 20 moving average, big rejection for the final bottom, the lowest we saw SPY for 2022. Why am I talking about this? Because it does affect Tesla. The way the market moves does affect Tesla. I've already made previous videos about that. I could talk a little bit more about that. But notice how we're pushing up, we're pushing up, we're pushing up. We were well above the 20 moving average. We come crashing down. Then all of a sudden, what happened? We're slowly getting closer to this 20 moving average, which is around 387. So I believe we're going to peak between 387 to maybe 390. That is still a possibility. We could go a little bit above this blue line. That's happened before. So we may have a few dollars left to continue pushing before a big rejection. When do I think the market's going to reject? When do I think the big drop is going to start? I believe it's likely going to start next week, either on Monday or on Thursday, right before the market opens on Thursday when CPI comes out. Because Michael Burry and many analysts are very concerned about CPI. They're saying it doesn't just drop in a straight line, it might be high. So who knows, right? Who knows? But I do believe we have some potential for a small rally to continue. I don't think it's going to be that huge. I'm actually not going to be playing it. Instead, I'm going to be looking at other opportunities to re-enter those positions, particular positions, which I'm not going to actually talk about. So what does this all mean for Tesla? What the heck does this tell us about Tesla? I'm going to look at the hourly on Tesla. All right. And here's what I'm essentially seeing. So when you look at the market, there is potential for us to see a collective push. If Tesla wants to keep going, what indication do we have that Tesla could keep going? We have SPY as one of them. QQQ or the NASDAQ, very similar formation. We're getting some consolidation. It's not breaking out as much as SPY, but it is slowly making those higher lows. And then finally, we have, obviously, I mentioned the dollar index is still at this low level. I expected it to remain low before bouncing maybe next week or within 2 weeks. Huge bounce in the dollar index. I expect a big crash to start in the stock market. By the way, I just think that we're not there yet, but we're getting closer. Finally, the VIX coming down. It's actually getting very close to filling this gap, so it is going to come down more. We have another gap down here around 21.5, so maybe the VIX comes down to the 21s, and I believe it will. I don't know how low it's going to go, though. I don't know if it's going to bounce off 21.41 or 20.9. One of those should be the level. But anyways, guys, now I want to talk about Tesla. What is going on with Tesla? Is Tesla going to bounce? Here's my answer. I believe you have a nice uptrend being respected on Tesla. Tesla did drop pretty hard, 12% down in just one day off deliveries, which actually wasn't that horrible. But I did mention to everyone that the news was exaggerating, making it seem like Tesla was a horrible company and etc. That's part of why Tesla sold off the way it did. When we saw Cathie Wood, I think, buying today, I believe it was reported today, um, that was a good sign. But I don't think it means Tesla's going to rally super hard from here. I think with the market, after everything I showed you, Tesla might rally a little bit more. We have some resistance around this 117 level on Tesla. So watch that very carefully. It's around this zone. It's not perfectly around there. Around the 117s, there's going to be some resistance. Tesla could come up. Maybe we retest the gap resistance around 118. If we break 118.58 to 118.86, somewhere around there, right? The 118s. All right, if we break that, there is some potential to fill the gap. I just can't really confirm that just yet. But I do want to note that there is some bullish potential. It's going to be minor. Because remember what I mentioned to you guys yesterday, a big crash is coming. I'm still pretty bearish on this market. If the market continues to rally, maybe it pushes Tesla up a little bit higher than we maybe would have expected, but it's eventually going to come back down most likely. Unfortunately, it's the truth. Q1 is going to be tough. An earnings recession is coming. So this could be a good opportunity for, a lot of shorts out there. I'm not going to be shorting Tesla, but other people that want to take advantage of this opportunity, other individuals, and also the shorts out there that are making, I believe they're up like what was it, 17, 18 billion right now on Tesla shorts. Tesla could push up a little bit, but it's eventually going to get a big rejection with the market, in my opinion, whether it's the start of next week or the 12th. Because you have to remember, when I just showed you, when SPY started crashing, when the market started crashing, Tesla started crashing, but it was actually crashing even harder because of Elon Musk selling and also the negative news catalysts, and also because of market structure, because we have a very cyclical market that does tend to affect stocks very collectively. So Tesla could push up. We have some resistance around this 118 to 117 zone. Tesla could try to get back here. It's going to have to fight to actually beat this area. If more buyers come in, as Cathie Wood did buy, so that is a pretty decent catalyst. If we break this area, I actually mapped out the support. So remember, previous support is going to become resistance. So this zone right here, let me see if I can get this to work. I don't know why this is frozen on me. Anyways, let me just redraw it for you. This zone right here, if Tesla could get a break above this area, if she breaks it, she could go for the gap fill. It is possible. But if Tesla does rally that much, I'm not going to be excited. It's the truth. There's going to be pain in Q1. There are going to be short sellers coming. There's going to be an earnings recession. We're going to see their earnings get affected. We're going to see more negative headlines. All this negative stuff is going to happen in Q1. So the market's going to reverse. We're likely going to see a big crash starting, a big one. It's going to be shocking for a lot of people. And when the crash comes, Tesla's likely going to start coming down. It's going to most likely break below 110, 108, 104. It's going to retest this, in my opinion. And I'm not talking about like tomorrow. I'm talking about over the next couple of weeks, right? Whether it's after like the start of next week or by Thursday of next week, a crash should start, in my opinion. And we're likely going to see a big change.